Hello everyone, SquaredCircle Wrestling is back with another episode which includes WWE NXT destroys AEW Dynamite in Tuesday Night War. Adam Copeland's in-ring debut dominates WWE NXT in viewership. Details behind WWE's decision on rejecting CM Punk's return. Former NXT champion forced to retire from in-ring competition. Seth Rollins is killing credibility. Tiffany Stratton attracts big attention. And much more. You can check the complete list with time chapters in the description box below. Before we start, make sure to subscribe to our channel for all the latest news. Our top story for today looks at WWE NXT destroys AEW Dynamite in Tuesday Night War. Tuesday night was the type of special evening that brought out the best in both AEW and NXT, with WWE rolling out the red carpet with some big names for its third brand. In the end, WWE's NXT won out in the so-called Tuesday Night War against AEW's Dynamite. According to the Nielsen overnight ratings, NXT pulled in 921,000 viewers on Tuesday night with 396,000 in the key adults 18 to 49 demographic. Dynamite averaged 609,000 viewers with 346,000 in the demo. A huge ratings victory for WWE, with NXT up approximately 7.5% compared to last week's show. Both companies tried to pull out all the stops to draw viewers. AEW announced what they called Title Tuesday, which saw multiple AEW titles on the line in matches across the program. In addition, Adam Copeland, also known as The Edge, also made his in-ring debut for AEW with a victory against Luchasaurus, and the show also saw Saraya lose her AEW Women's Championship to Hikaru Shida. Not to be outdone, WWE showcased multiple main roster stars like John Cena, Cody Rhodes, and LA Knight on NXT. Even The Undertaker, who retired in 2020, made an appearance to chokeslam NXT star Braun Breaker. It is easy to say that the war was a total victory for the wrestling fans. Next up, Adam Copeland's in-ring debut dominates WWE NXT in viewership. AEW Dynamite and WWE NXT ran shows at the same time this week, as this was the first time they went head-to-head in over a year. Naturally, both shows brought their absolute top game in the battle for supremacy. AEW Dynamite featured Adam Copeland's in-ring debut, and it seems his debut beat every segment on Dynamite and NXT in terms of YouTube viewership. If one looks at the YouTube viewership for every single segment on AEW Dynamite and NXT, fans will notice that Adam Copeland's in-ring debut has the most views out of everything on both shows. Currently, Copeland's debut has over 1 million views on AEW's YouTube channel, while The Undertaker's return segment has crossed 500,000 views mark as of now. Next up, details behind WWE's decision on rejecting CM Punk's return. There were some huge speculations in the past few weeks about CM Punk, and WWE were in talks for Punk to return at the upcoming WWE Survivor Series in Rosemont. But now it seems that the chances of CM Punk heading to WWE grow slimmer and slimmer with each new report. Dave Meltzer, on the latest Wrestling Observer Radio, said that WWE decided against hiring the recently fired AEW star. He said, "They turned him down. The decision was a no. He wanted to go there and the decision was a no. I mean, it can always change, and it was brought up to me that there is no such thing as no forever when it comes to WWE, but it's no for now. It's Vince McMahon's decision." Vince, Nick Khan, Paul Levesque, obviously, they decided that the negatives outweighed the positives. But this time they could, and they decided to pass. It could always change, and it was made very clear to me that if WWE's business went down, they know it's a card that they could play, but is it worth it? Next up, former NXT champion forced to retire from in-ring competition. Former NXT champion Bobby Roode's in-ring career appears to be over, with the star no longer listed as part of WWE's active roster. Since being put on the shelf in summer 2022, Roode has undergone 2 neck fusion surgical procedures in November 2022 and May 2023. Neck fusion is no joke, and can be a massive hurdle for any wrestler to overcome in order to make an in-ring return, never mind a veteran talent such as Roode. As per a report from PW Insider, Roode's profile on WWE.com has been moved from the active roster to the miscellaneous section. This section is reserved for legends and currently inactive or injured wrestlers. Roode has been out of action since June 2022, but has recently been working backstage in WWE in a producer role. Whilst there is still a chance that Roode returns to in-ring competition, it seems more likely that the Glorious One will continue with his producer duties, having been working in a producer capacity since early August. Next up, update on Brock Lesnar's WWE Crown Jewel status. As 2023 draws to a close, WWE's focus shifts to Saudi Arabia, where they are set to host the 2023 Crown Jewel event in Riyadh on November 4th. Crown Jewel will be quite a massive show with big matches on the card. But one huge name isn't booked for the show. Ringside News confirmed that John Cena is going to wrestle at Crown Jewel. That will be a massive attraction for the Saudi Arabia show, but one staple of those events is not going this time around. They reported, Ringside News reached out to confirm Brock Lesnar's status for WWE Crown Jewel on November 4th. We were told that the Beast Incarnate is not booked for the Saudi Arabian event. It appears that break for the Beast incarnate Brock Lesnar is going to continue. Next up, AEW finally makes decision on Jungle Boy Jack Perry. It seems as though AEW has silently made a decision on Jack Perry's standing in the promotion since indefinitely suspending for his role in the now infamous backstage altercation with CM Punk at All In. While this incident saw the firing of the so-called real world champion CM Punk, while Jack Perry suffered a less severe fate, and now it seems as though the former FTW champion is just a matter of time away from being back on TV. According to Mike Johnson of PW Insider Elite, after speaking to some people, the belief of those who I have spoken to is that he is no longer on an indefinite suspension, but the company is in no rush to bring him back. The belief among the people I have spoken to is that the longer he is away, the longer it makes distance between himself and that incident with CM Punk. He had also just wrapped up that angle with Hook, so there is no rush to bring him back. Next up, Seth Rollins is killing credibility. The main event of WWE Fastlane saw Seth Rollins defend his World Heavyweight Championship against Shinsuke Nakamura in a brutal last man standing match. The bout lasted nearly 30 minutes with both men taking considerable damage, and in the end, Rollins was able to retain his title. The next night on Raw, Rollins was smiling and laughing as he addressed the crowd in attendance, not showing signs of the beating he'd taken the night before. WWE Hall of Famer Bully Ray, on this week's Busted Open Radio, heavily criticized Seth Rollins for failing to properly sell the aftermath of his title matchup against Shinsuke Nakamura at Fastlane. He said, "These are the things that annoy me. You killed the credibility of the match and the believability of the back injury. You killed everything Shinsuke Nakamura did to you, bumps off of ladders, going through tables, falcon arrows through tables, everything. And not even a limp, not even a grabbing of the shoulder. Come on, we all know the WWE and Seth Rollins are smarter than that." He continued, "I'm sick and tired of the lack of selling in this industry, whether it's selling in the ring in the moment or selling afterward. It is just uncalled for. This is not old man screaming at the clouds, this is what's right." Next up, top free agent won't sign with WWE, says Dave Meltzer. Former IWGP World Champion Will Ospreay's contract with New Japan Pro Wrestling expires in February. And according to the Wrestling Observer's Dave Meltzer, the IWGP United States Champion has two options realistically. He said, he wants to live in England, so the deal is that for him to go to WWE, it would not be full-time. He still could fly in and stuff, but the best thing from his standpoint would be for them to get that Europe thing going and just make him the frickin' star of the whole thing. Obviously, Will Ospreay is going to be a very sought-after wrestler, and normal rules is that you pay a certain amount for NXT guys, and obviously they will not get him for 6 times that money. AEW is gonna offer him a good deal. I think it's AEW or WWE. I just don't see New Japan being able to afford him at this point. Next up, Tony Khan addresses AEW low attendance. Despite AEW's in-ring action remaining solid and praised highly each week, other metrics have been down compared to the promotion's peak in late 2021 and early 2022. Ratings have failed to get over 1 million for a number of months, and recent US attendances have been lower. In regards to the promotion as a whole, Dave Meltzer previously described its current state as cold. Khan was asked about this perception while appearing on the Dan Le Batard Show, where he addressed the buzz around recent programming and believes AEW has positive momentum despite low attendance. He said, "We've really begun to change it. The perception is very strong for AEW worldwide. 44 days ago, we set the all-time record for ticket sales for any wrestling show ever in the history of the planet. We're having a very good year. Our pay-per-view numbers are through the roof, and we're going to have a great show tonight on TBS. The fans are behind what we're doing. People are mobilized behind this lineup. I've seen more positive momentum and positive feedback about AEW in the last 24 hours than I have in several weeks, and that's saying a lot because we've had a lot of huge shows in the last several weeks." Next up, injury update on FTR's Cash Wheeler. Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood lost the AEW World Tag Team Championship to Ricky Starks and Big Bill on AEW Collision this past Saturday night. After that match, it was reported that FTR had dropped the belts because Wheeler was dealing with an injury. Dave Meltzer, on the latest Wrestling Observer Radio, provided an update on Wheeler's injury status. He said, "So the deal, I guess, is that Cash Wheeler wasn't hurt, and it's just all storyline. It was just to put those guys over big. And, you know, they're gonna be back in the mix. I mean, the match thing was their idea for sure. They said that that's all story, that there's no injury. There's supposed to be a rematch. I mean, the way it was laid out, it's to set up a rematch. When Ricky Starks and Big Bill said there was going to be no rematch, it was basically to set up a rematch." Next up, Tiffany Stratton attracts big attention. Tiffany Stratton gained prominence in recent months, winning the NXT Women's Championship at NXT Battleground 2023. She had a successful title run and engaged in a rivalry with Becky Lynch, ultimately losing the championship to the former Raw Women's Champion. Paul Heyman, while speaking with Fox News Digital, stated that Tiffany Stratton is a star who, if she keeps going on her current trajectory, she will be a major player for the company. He said, "Tiffany Stratton is someone that Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair and the main roster women better keep their eyes on, because she's another one who, if she continues on this path, is going to be a significant player in the future of this industry and leading the industry into the future." And that is all for today's news. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel SquaredCircle Wrestling for all the latest updates.